And welcome everyone to the House Jack City Backstage Sports Edition. I'm your host, Rob Eggers, alongside my bro from Chicagoland, Roy Herman. How we doing, Roy? How's the weather out there, man?
Well, it's 52 degrees. High is going to be about 55. The rest of the week's going to be like 39, low 40s. Last night, 28. So cold.
Cold, yes. Well, it's definitely not. Well, I know what, it was cold this morning. Let me take that back. It was like 61 degrees when I woke up. I know that doesn't sound cold, but for Florida, it is. And I think overnight it was 48. So, we're definitely still getting a little bit of that cold weather. But it turned out to be a beautiful day. I think it's 69 degrees out right now. So
Beautiful.
we didn't even hit 70, but the sun's shining and it's a great day to be alive, Roy. But it's also a great day to be a football fan because there's a freaking huge frenzy going on in the free agency pool. And let's get right to it because, bro, the number one story right now has to be the trade that happened in Chicago.
Yes, and we definitely want to get into that, right? So it was like a stunning, shocking trade that occurred, but there's some news that has come out after that. So in case you haven't heard by now, Justin Fields was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Bears will receive a 2025 sixth-round pick. However, if Justin Fields plays more than like 40% of the year he gets in the lineup and he plays, that pick can move up to a fourth-round pick. So on paper, right, Fields is 25 and Russell Wilson is 36. But wait, there's more. This just came out that Russell Wilson and the Steelers plan to discuss a new contract after the 2024 season. So it was Mike Tomlin, per Ian Rappaport's report, that reached out to Wilson before the trade was finalized to let Russell Wilson know, hey, your job is safe. And according to Gary Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Wilson and the Steelers are interested in a multi-year arrangement. So while Pittsburgh is paying Wilson the veteran minimum on his one-year deal for 2024, the Broncos are picking up the rest of Wilson's $39 million. And
it's a lot of money.
To go on to say this, and I want to get your thoughts, but sounds a little premature. Fields is 25, Wilson's 36. You only got 1 year left of team control on Fields.
Correct.
Your thoughts?
Well, how many teams, Roy, were interested in Fields in this trade? And, going back to, hey, go ahead. How many?
Well, there was about 4 to 5 teams that were interested. However,
yes,
Ryan Poles said that he wanted to do right by Justin. So
Correct.
He didn't take necessarily the best offer because he wanted to do right to Justin.
Correct. And that's why I feel that, overall, Justin Fields has got screwed in Chicago. Let's be real. Okay. The kid has been bounced around like a freaking rag doll, and that's more by management. He won the locker room. He loves Chicago. He loves his teammates. He loves the fans. He's made that clear. And it's hard for him to leave. And even some of the teammates, and you probably know the names of the teammates. A lot of the teammates on the Chicago Bears are very upset with this trade and how it was handled for Justin Fields because he really didn't get a time to shine in Chicago. And just the weapons already that are built around for him this season that could have been is no longer. So now his next chapter, like he said, is going to be in the Steel City of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, every player on the Bears that had an open opportunity. So when Jalen Johnson signed his contract extension, in his presser, he said that he loved Justin Fields as a teammate, as all of the locker room has been saying that. Now, Jalen Johnson went on to say that they're mature enough as a organization, as a team, they want to win, and they're professionals, that despite who is under center next year, they will play hard and they will do what's right for the team, what's for the betterment of the team, right, to win.
Right.
So, with that being said, though, he took his opportunity to make sure he put that in there on Justin Fields. And he's not alone. Most of the team had said the same thing. So,
So let's talk about that quarterback position. So it's pretty much wide open for this. And I have this highlighted, Roy, in your article. Why don't you go ahead and take control where it says, meanwhile, the Chicago fans like yourself, Roy,
Yeah. So
have Caleb Williams to look forward to in the near future. But the club is doubtlessly disappointed that is unable to fetch a larger return for Fields. But, hey, listen, you all can read the rest on that one.
the
And you
number
can read
so who was
this
the
at
number 11
profootballrumors.com.
overall pick of the 2021 draft? And at that time, I lived it and saw it.
Mhm.
The media, the
Do you feel this
talk
is another
shows,
Trubisky?
everything. He replaced Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah. Do you feel this
So
is do you think this is just, I mean, it's pretty much in everyone's, if you're a sports fan, you know that, and a Bears fan for that matter, that Trubisky, this just seems like it's all over again, right? And JJ McCarthy, you're going to pass up on him, not trading up for him, and he might be the next Patrick Mahomes pass up, right? Is that what you're thinking this could possibly be turning into, Roy?
see, that's
Are the Bears repeating again, Roy? Are Bears fans just like the hell with it, knock down Soldier Field and move the damn team out of Chicago? Well, don't knock down Soldier Field. You know what I'm saying? On football
right.
terms, just you think that the Bears are just gonna be ran out of Chicago if this shit like this keeps happening?
They've missed on so many. I mean, Jay Cutler was overrated. Let's take it back to '96 because a Chicago fan was asking me here. Dave Watson's so big on as a commentator now on NBC Chicago on the Score. He's blown up. But what was wrong with him as a coach, and why wasn't his tenure there more successful? Well, that was for Rick Meyer that they made a trade in '96. And, Dave Onset wanted him then and said he was the missing piece. Rick Meyer was kind of like the offensive rookie of the year. And that was kind of a fluke season. And after that, Rick Meyer was a bust. And that's ultimately what cost Dave Weinstein his job. So they have not gotten it right all these years. I mean, we can go through the list: Rex Grossman, Cade McNown, and the list goes on and on and on. The question is with this draft, nobody really knows. Nobody knows.
Mhm.
Can you honestly sit here and say which quarterback's going to be the best one? Honestly, you're going to
No,
say what you think, but
right?
it's a crapshoot. And they always are. Drew Bledsoe, Rick Meyer, the Seahawks thought they got it right that year, but Drew Bledsoe had the better career. It goes on to Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning. You just hope that you get it right, but no one really knows.
And right here in this article too, it kind of leads into what we're talking about with one of the four teams, and the Philadelphia Eagles were obviously involved in this. So, Roy, you and me have a perfect connection in this fairy tale story that's occurring in front of us. But I mean, look at this script writing here. I mean, they're already starting to compare a Nick Foles situation in Philadelphia. Why we needed good old Kenny. I loved his press conference though, but being an Eagles fan, he understands the pressure. So basically, remember the last episode in episode 2 when we were talking about what Kenny Pickett is in for? Well, he already knows what he's in for. He was going to the link ever since he was 10 years old with his dad. So he has definitely grown up an Eagles fan, and he's pretty much was the same age as my lady's son Everett, and he's a diehard Eagles fan, by the way, and got a bunch of Eagles stuff for his birthday. Happy birthday again, Everett! And I'm telling you, this could be another Nick Foles situation because Jalen, is he 100%? Is he gonna be 100%? Probably not. Even though the season is over and he's going to be getting treatment and so forth with his nagging injuries he had, especially his leg injuries and his finger, even. I mean, look at mine. I'm going through a similar situation as he is. And that was on the throwing hand for him. So imagine the pain and suffering he's been going through all season. Hey, Jalen, if you're listening, I know what you're feeling out there. Okay. So, with that said, I am happy with this pick after reading more into it, doing more research about Kenny, knowing his passion of Philadelphia, of the city of Philadelphia, and the fans will just connect to him either way. And I don't see a booing situation coming in or a if Jalen goes down. If Jalen goes down, I think people are gonna be like, all right, I'm glad Jalen's okay, but I know that Kenny's our man. He's going to know the system. He's going to be treated with respect. He's going to be treated just like Nick Foles was treated in Philadelphia. And that's why Nick Foles wants to retire an Eagle, and he will retire an Eagle. All right. So guess what? Philly, we're going to be just fine. But I can't answer on the other side in Chicago there, Roy. Are you guys going to be okay?
And that's the thing, and nobody knows at this point. On paper, it's Caleb Williams. He's supposed to be a generational talent. He's supposed to be. I've watched a lot of the highlights though of him. And go back and take a look at him. There's some things he did in college, like off balance, you know, throwing off the wrong foot, that he made work. That were like, oh my God, did you see that? But that's in college. That's not the pro, right?
Correct.
So everybody wants the next Patrick Mahomes. I like the kid. The one thing I could say is I like his confidence, which some people are taking as arrogance, which in your quarterback, you gotta be confident. You gotta own the room. You gotta go out. But if you could back it up, that's the thing, right? Like Deion Sanders was cocky. But he backed it up, right? And so he might rub people the wrong way, but if you could back it up, then hey, cool, right? Because Jim McMahon was cockier than cocky, but he won, and winning cures all ills. I don't know if we're going to be okay. I don't think anybody here, if you want to put the rose-colored glasses on and say he's a generational talent, all that, blah blah blah, but a lot's going to have to transpire to when he gets on the field. How's he going to respond to if there are boos? How's he going to respond in the locker room? If he comes in cocky right off the bat before he even proved anything, because that's what Cade McNown did in '99, he lost the locker room right off the bat. You got to come in confident, but hold off the cockiness until you go out of the gate 5-0 or whatever. Then you could start saying, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm the man." So he's got a fine. He's got to walk the tightrope coming in, and I he's 6'1". He doesn't have the prototype 6'5" quarterback height that everybody loves on paper. There's a lot still. There's still a lot of questions. We won't know for a while.
And for everyone on this article here, CBSSports.com, by the way, we're getting this source here. Awesome, by the way, just how they break it down. So kudos to them. Basically, here's why the Eagles passed on Justin Fields, Roy. Basically, the Eagles would have Fields for one season as the number 2 quarterback instead of 2 seasons of Pickett, right? Hence why the cost for Pickett was a 24 third-round pick, numbered 98 overall, and a pair of 25 seventh-round picks. And the Eagles got a 2024 round pick, number 120 overall, back in the deal. So that's why it's a smart decision to pass him for the people that wanted Fields to go to Philadelphia. It makes sense not to get Fields right now. Will he be available in the future? Maybe. You never know. So Fields could still be on the table in the future, but stay healthy, Justin. Okay. So God bless Justin Fields. I'm glad that the Bears organization was taking care of this young man in that sense after what they did to him on the field the past couple seasons. And I just need to see him shine. I think he still has it in him. And I know that you Bears fans, including yourself, Roy, you would like to see him stay. But it looks like it's going to be the Caleb Williams show. You never know. But who knows nowadays what's going to happen in the NFL, right? So that's sports for you guys.
Couple points I briefly want to make. I want to touch on Justin and then, Pickett and then Justin. But as far as Pickett is concerned, not only does he have the 2 years, but passing wise, he has a better arm and he's proven to have more upside as a passer, where Justin is a runner. And the whole problem with him right now is nobody believes in him as a passer. So I think that figured into Philadelphia's plans as well. Now, taking it back to, I lost my thought. I was going to touch something on the Bears. It'll come back to me, and we can come back to that later on.
Well, you know why? Because it's so cloudy for a lot of Bears fans, Roy, that Justin Fields is gone. And I feel you, because when Donovan McNabb left the Philadelphia Eagles and went to my arch nemesis at the time, the Washington team, I don't want to say that out loud right now, but the old Washington team, the Commanders as who they are now, And it was hard. It was hard to see him in that red and white uniform. So, it's a sad day. Yeah, I know it's going to take
Oh,
time for a lot of Bears fans for it to get over all that. So,
it came back to me. So you mentioned the Bears doing right by Justin Fields. So I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to flip it. How about you're a season ticket holder, right? How about you pay personal seat licenses? So you're shelling out all this money, okay? And you, as a fan, haven't been treated right. You've been screwed. Do you think that fan that's paying all that money cares that they're doing right by Justin when if they could have got a better offer, winning matters in the NFL and the fans haven't seen a winner here since the 85 Super Bowl on the football side? So I'm going to flip it around and say, yeah, that's nice, but management was the one that screwed him up in the first place. So why
right.
does the fan that has to pay the personal seat license and the astronomical amounts of the season tickets, the parking, and all that jazz, why do we have to get stuck with, getting less for him because it was the right thing to do? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And, unfortunately, on Ryan Poles, he inherited him from Ryan Pace, who picked 2 quarterbacks, Trubisky and then Fields,
Hmm.
and now
And
Poles is dealing with the fallout.
let me ask you a question on that deal that the Steelers got. So let's talk about that draft pick one more time. Explain the stipulations of how the Bears get either a fourth or sixth round.
So, if Russell Wilson plays the majority of the season, right? So Justin Fields would have to play 40% of the season or more. And if he does, then the Bears would get a 4th round pick. But if Russell Wilson plays the majority of the season and Justin gets mop up duties or maybe 1 or 2 starts, it's a 6th round pick.
Mm.
So they're guaranteed a 6th round no matter what. It could be a 4th if Russell Wilson gets hurt or is ineffective, and then Justin comes in and plays basically the majority of the season. That's what the Bears can only hope for at this point, is that
Right.
that happens.
Well,
And
let's
it
hope.
could. It could. I mean, nobody knows how Russell Wilson's gonna respond. So maybe that's why, um, Coach Tomlin came out and said, "Hey, we do want to keep you around. So just so you know, Russell, we will broach the topic of a contract. Maybe that'll make him feel good in his head to want to come out and play the best that he can play. Sparks competition. Competition is good. Let the
Dude, I
two
think
boys battle it out.
hey, with these two guys, and I get that money's involved, Roy, and this is how the league's been for a while, right? The higher the amount of money you're putting into a player, they better be on the field, right? You're going to get a first round draft pick. The number one overall pick is it a quarterback? Are you benching him? No, you're most likely going to start him. So if the Bears stay with Plan A, that it seems like Plan A is to get Caleb Williams, and a lot, he really didn't have that good of a season last year. Um,
He didn't.
but that's where maybe he's going to get developed in this system. Do the Bears get him and then pull a swerve and go get trade for Herbert or something from San Diego and just do a complete swerve and then put him on there for a 2-year contract? I don't know, but don't the Bears have a lot of money to spend this year on the cap?
Oh yeah, they have.
Aren't they just going money hungry like Santa Claus came to Chicago and just dropped a crap load of money in Soldier Field and
Right,
they
they
went
have
out there
one
and
of the
picked it up?
highest, caps that they can spend.
Right.
So they've already been addressing most of their needs as many as they can because they don't have that many picks now. They only have, like, 4 picks because they've made some trades. So,
Right.
unless they would trade the one to get a haul, they only have 4 picks. So that's why they've went out and using that money to fill most of those gaps that they can in free agency, and then you got the number 1, the 9. If they hold on to the 9, they could trade the 9, to be determined on that.
To be determined. A lot of stuff going on, man. It's crazy how,
Chicago is too
this
much.
free agency is just so good this year, and it's
It
not
is.
even over yet. I mean, look at my Eagles, man. You got Saquon Barkley, CJ Gardner's back, just some big hitters, and we're starting to build already. We're building that defense. We want to win a championship. I mean, that city wants another championship. You can't stop at one. Like, do this. Hey, wouldn't it be great to do this for Jason Kelsey this time? Say, hey, I know you retired, but and maybe a slap in the face. Oh, y'all can win this one before I retired. Yeah, that would be a running joke. But hey, every team is trying to build to win, and every team knows that they're not ready for a Super Bowl. If the New York Jets came out and said right now we're going to a Super Bowl this year, we're ready. No, you're not. Stop lying to your fan base. Your fan base is a smart fan base. They are one of the most loyal fans in the league is the New York Jets, in my opinion, with the bags over their head. But they still love their team. The Chicago Bears. Yeah, you'll lose some fans, but you got those diehard tailgate fans. The same tailgaters are there every single home game. And they travel well too, just like the Blackhawks. A lot of Chicago teams, big city teams for that matter, just like right when we went to Philadelphia back when you were a top 10 finalist for the PA announcing job for the 76ers. I'm not sure if anyone knew that, but just drop some hot knowledge on Roy's background there. We drove in the car, brother. You and a fellow friend, we drove all the way to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And when we got there, I was like a kid in a candy shop, wasn't
Yes,
I?
you were.
I was like, wow, look at
That's why
that.
I had to make that
Click,
call to get
click,
you on that trip.
click. Look at, oh my God, we're going over that bridge. Click. Oh, yeah, that was me. I was a little kid.
Yeah, that was
And I was
wonderful.
like sleeping in the back seat, nice and quiet. Rob, wake up, we're here. And it's just like the National Lampoon's movies, Wally World right in front of my face. And it was Wally World for me. And then we went into the Xfinity Zone. Shout out to those guys there, by the way, at 97.5 the fan. Those guys were freaking awesome, man. They gave us some memorabilia to go home. Oh, you're an Eagles fan? Come over here, my friend. You're in the right spot. Dude, every Philadelphia Eagles fan that I've met from Philly, they're awesome. And yes, they could be rowdy and all this stuff. I don't agree with everything they do. I just agree with their passion. All right. They are true diehard green Philadelphia Eagle fans. Jersey area, you're probably an Eagles fan. I mean, that's where you're an Eagles fan or Giants fan, but that's where it teeter totters like Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox do because you're right on that border. So
Mhm.
I find the culture itself in Philly amazing. And when we were remember when we said in the hotel, we ain't eating nothing today, guys. And we did the tourist thing. We went to the two. Can we shout them out? Geno's and Pat's. Yeah, let's do it. Geno's and Pat's. Phenomenal, both of them. They both had their own way. And then, all the Philadelphia natives said, you guys are tourists. You're going to the tourist spots. You got to go down the street and try this and that at Uncle Jimmy's or something like that.
Yeah.
Big steaks or just some random ones you wouldn't even think of, right? And they're just
Mhm.
ducked in a corner next to a cigarette shack. You never know.
Right.
So, and that's the fun part about going to these cities. And that I'm keeping it in with Justin. He just needs a change of environment, man. He needs a change of environment. And it sounds like, Roy, he's going to be the next starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers within the next year or two.
And that's what it looks like. But you know what? I'm probably the only Russell Wilson devil's advocate
Mhm.
because I know he's taken so much of a beating after the failure, in Denver. However,
Mhm.
and I'm not comparing him to the player himself, but I'm just saying the situation. You got to look at it. When they drafted Philip Rivers, and Drew Brees had a bad shoulder and he was coming off of a bad season, they discarded him and then he went to the Saints. And then he wound up playing into his 40s and he won a Super Bowl. He got a second win per se. So at 36 years old, I wouldn't say Russell Wilson is washed up or done. That is why you have to give him one more chance, which he's going to get. Maybe it was just not the right atmosphere in Denver. Um, Whatever the situation is, the Denver Broncos are a messed up organization. They're being run by the Walmart family, okay, that bought them. So let's just give him one more shot. He did win a Super Bowl in Seattle. He was at one point the toast of the town in Seattle and the league. Oh my God, Russell Wilson, third round pick, and look what he did. And everybody loved that he was an underdog.
I'm
And
sure someone is calling him Justin because she's like, well, my name's not Justin. Well, you're nobody. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So, you know what? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let the guy have his moment. And then if he collapses and they go out and they're, like 1-4 or whatever.
Doesn't everybody deserve
Yeah.
4 chances, Roy?
Uh,
4 chances, right? 4. I mean, it seems like Russell Wilson just. Can we talk about that for a second when he went to Denver? How he just. I'm the richest man in football, so I'm gonna get my own office, and you guys got to knock before you come in, and make sure my Russell Wilson jockstrap is warm by the time of game time. Okay, I wanted a nice
He
74
rubbed
degrees.
people the wrong way, right? Everybody's ready to throw him away. Am I a fan of him personally? Not really. There's some personal issues that he had that, well, I guess I'm just going to say it, right? It's our podcast, but he he was married and to his his college sweetheart. They both professed to be people of faith, and then they got divorced. And then he has this high profile wife now, this whatever. So when that happened, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way that he forgot where he came from and ditched his wife for, a better one. That's on him. And for him to profess his faith and all that other stuff, obviously it's not catch the first stone unless we're perfect, because we're not. I'm not. But
Likewise.
that kind of just, I didn't like that on him. So I'm being generous by giving him another chance by saying everybody just stand back and give him a shot. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
And that's how I feel about Kenny Pickett, coming over. Just knowing what a diehard Eagles fan he is pretty special. And just looking at the pictures in his press conference and everything that he's done growing up, what he was saying when he was growing up and going to the games with his father, and just seeing the spark in his eye and just seeing the excitement, like, yo, this, like, literally, I'll reenact this real quick. He's standing like this, he looks around, I'm an Eagle, man. Dream come true. Talking to, I've been watching you, bro, like since I was 5, bro. Like you still had the same toupee on. Oh man, hey man, I know you. Yeah, you the guy that still sold me nachos when I was 5. Dude, you still work here? That's crazy. The nacho guy's in here, by the way, guys. No, he wasn't doing that. But my point is, he was living the dream of feeling, at the podium. His kid mind was literally going crazy, just knowing he's sitting in the Philadelphia Eagles freaking press room talking to the Philadelphia freaking newscasters, right? That he grew up watching. I think that's a pretty cool thing. So, that's why I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. I'm a cheeser for that, just like I'm a cheeser for Nick Foles. I love Nick Foles. Thank you, Nick, again. Good old Saint Nick for our Super Bowl. Thank you. I love you. That's all I have to say. I hope you're watching.
A change of scenery may just do it for him. He got hurt. He had Mason Rudolph that came in. They kind of got sidetracked by him. Then Mason Rudolph left that team. Then they got sidetracked by Mitch Trubisky. So they didn't really commit to him and go all in with him. And so now, hopefully it's kind of like Justin Fields. He kind of did wrong too. So, now he's going to have the slate wiped clean. One other thing I want to bring up, though, about that Philadelphia trip.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia has it right. They have a complex where the parks are all in the same lot, right? So you have the Link, you've got Wells Fargo. Over here, you got on the other side,
Citibank,
Citizens Bank. And then in the middle, you got a sports bar. So if you don't have a ticket to a game, you got a place to go hang out.
Right.
What a place that was.
I'm going to have to find that video. I know it's easy to find. I can get it. And I'll have to bring that on when we kind of do some nostalgic segments in the future. And by the way, Roy, since we're talking about segments, we have a lot coming up. And I wanted to kind of give some feedback on what you're thinking, because we did mention a little bit, since we're on the 30-minute mark here, because we're going to be what's coming up in the show, guys, as well. Before we get into this for the segments, the NFL Players Pathway Pro Day is tomorrow at USF, and all 32 teams are going to be there. It's going to be great. A lot of media coverage, so it's definitely going to be publicized, and I'm excited to be a part of this. I was there last year, as I said before. So just going there and watching these guys for 10 weeks bust their ass. I want to give a round of applause to everyone that's on there. So coming up here in a little bit, we confirmed today James Cook, the guy that runs it all for the IPP part of it, and has been basically looking over this whole program, and he's been been doing it, man. He's honestly been doing it. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to have met him. He's just a great human being, very understanding, a great guy, very dedicated to his staff, dedicated to the players. I mean, I'm pouring this out from the heart, man. He's just a good person to be around, and everyone looks up to him. And I hope to continue working with him here in the near future. So shout out to James Cook. He will be a guest. Surprise! He has been confirmed. James Cook will be on a future episode of the podcast post the IPP, so we can talk about it. So it's good to have him on here in the near future. Yes, like that. Put those sound effects to work, Roy. I love it. Thank you. So we'll be getting into that.
In here. There's an old sound effect. That was real people.
So with segments, Roy, we definitely are going to be talking a lot with guests from the sports world, from the industry world, what we do as podcasters. Having other podcasters on is going to be awesome. Kind of, go into behind the scenes, why they started to podcast, going back to some of our old guests, going back to some nostalgia shows of sports preview back in the early 1990s, late 90s into the early 2000s. We're making ourselves sound older than we are. So yeah, I'm excited for what's coming up. We're going to be doing live remotes coming soon. I got some meetings coming up with a few vendors and hopefully some people that are going to want to be a part of this, some establishments. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming up down here in South Florida. So, and we will be simulcasting either way. And hopefully, Roy, will be having some guests on your side in the Chicagoland area. So, what do we have to look forward into the Chicagoland area? We know that Sly is going to be a future guest on our show. The man is very busy. So, shout out to Sly over there at Beantown Collectibles in Boston, Massachusetts. If you're heading out there, tell them Roy and Rob sent you.
That's right. And, in the Chicago area, so I'm a proud alumni of Joliet Catholic Academy for the Midwesterners. And you all saw Rudy. What high school did Rudy go to? Joliet Catholic Academy. How about Mike Allstott? Joliet Catholic Academy. Tom Thayer, yes. The list goes on. Ellie Quigley, who boy, oh boy, was my favorite WNBA player and won the championship here with the Sky. She's on a little hiatus right now as she's planning to possibly start a family. Okay. But there's a lot of folks here that I'm excited to get them on that we can talk because we can really, and that's one thing I want to say, Rob, is it's the peek behind the curtain. It's the peek behind the success that people like myself want to know, right? So you see the athlete as the celebrity, but what did it take to get there? What was the hardships? It wasn't all just easy. There was a lot of hardships. There was roadblocks. There was things that some of these folks wanted to give up on. They can tell their story firsthand, what it looked like. And that's what I'm excited to hear from these folks is they're real people. The real people that you see them as the Joe fan, like, oh my God, they're awesome. They're like, the real people with real stories, with real struggles that wanted to give up or they had problems and they weren't always happy. And it wasn't always, rose-colored glasses and great things. So that's what gives people the motivation to get up out of bed each day, to pursue their dream, whatever that dream may be. That even your heroes, yes, even your heroes wanted to give up where they had struggles.
And that brings me into today's theme, Roy. Every week, everybody, every show we do, I will have a theme behind me. And this is a mental theme. All right. I had that on the last show being goofy, a brick wall, right? Because me and Roy are running into some brick walls, and we're going to dedicate a special episode and go backstage with Rob Eggers and Roy Herman on a future mental health show. And it could get emotional. We are going to talk about it behind the scenes of what we are going to do. We might get real with you. We won't be naming any names, but we will be naming some things that do bother us and what we can possibly do to help people out there. We are not licensed whatsoever. I am talking as we are having a conversation with you. This is what a podcast is all about. I am talking to you, the viewers that are
Real.
interested in this, right? Interested in what we do, interested on our passion on what we want. I've been effed over left and right in my life. It doesn't matter what career path I went. It doesn't matter if I was with an ex of mine or whatever the case may be. But you know what? I don't bitch about it. You just have to learn from your bitching and you got to move forward from it. So anyone that's having a bad day and is driving to work or coming home from work right now, and you're listening to us over your speakers or you're in the background home by yourself making cookies and you need some inspiration and something to make you happy, just know that someone does love you out there, and always reach out. Because if you're not going to reach out, how are you going to make a change? You're the only one that wants to make change. I'm part of that. That's why Roy and I are on this podcast. We were on sports preview since 1997 all the way to 2012, one of the longest running sports shows in the history of Bowling Green Community Television, and no one will replicate that. We were nominated for 5 awards from the AT&T Broadband. We all know how that story went, but we're not. Shit happens. It motivates us, right? And you learn from that. So I've had an author come in months before and tell me that he wants to write a book about me. That's an honor, but I wasn't ready to share my life at that moment. And I'm ready now at the age of 41, almost 42 years old. Me and Roy share the same birth month together. So we are Leos, man. We're passionate people. We're emotional people, but we are loyal people, and we think of others before I think, and personally, what I think of myself. And Roy has done the same. I can speak for you for that because I'm a witness of that. We're bringing you guys all this information. We are not, people that know everything. This man right here on the other side of my screen knows more about sports than anyone I know on this freaking planet. And I want him, I'm giving you what you deserve, my friend. Roy Herman right here has been needing a shot for a long time. So anyone that's listening in, this man, get this man his dream because he deserves it. We are both living the dream now, but I want him to get his dream. He deserves this. And you will see on each episode that goes by how dedicated and how much our heart is into this show.
Can I
So,
just say one quick
yeah,
thing about
absolutely,
when you
bud.
bring up sports?
Yeah,
God and sports. Okay. And obviously, well, not obviously, but I do. I suffer from mental health. I have PTSD and I have anxiety. It's
right.
invisible. A lot of days when people hear this or I talk to them, they go, "What? You're always positive. You're so motivational." And people thank me for helping them, build their careers and stuff. And that's just humbleness. That's just I don't want to, but I've always put myself last, right? But where I'm going with this is what's kept me alive all these years? What gets me out of bed every day? Why am I still here after things that I went through? God and sports. God, my faith, and knowing that when I leave this earth, that it's not over, it's not done, and it's not doom and gloom. It'll be much better, and that's because of my Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. And sports is just always been something to escape, to get out of, to follow something bigger than yourself. And there's lessons in sports. There's failure. There's championships. There's success. There's people with mental health in sports. DeMar DeRozan just has come out and said he has depression. So now he's doing a podcast on mental health. Zach Greinke, who at the height in 2006, he was coming up and walked away from the Royals and went home and was having panic attacks and goes, "I quit." And they're like, "You can't quit. You're our franchise pitcher. Like, you have to come back." So with a little therapy and medication, he was able to continue his career on. And let me just say this. A lot of people, Chicago, and this is my last point I'm going to make on the mental health side, but when the Bulls just had their induction into the Ring of Honor ceremony, okay, Jerry Krause, who was the general manager, and I know a lot of folks watched The Last Dance, he was villainized, okay, but his widow was there that night, and when they acknowledged her and they said Jerry Krause's name, the whole arena booed. And she just lost it. She cried. She was waving her hands and flailing. Ron Harper, being a decent human being, put his arm around her and showed some love and compassion. That's one point. The second point is Zach Greinke, who came out and said he has anxiety, really bad panic attacks. He's warming up in bullpens around baseball, and fans are heckling him and making fun of him and tearing him down, about his anxiety. Yeah, I know they get paid a lot of money. Yes, but they're still human beings. I don't care how much you get paid or what job you do.
We talked about that in sports preview too.
You're still a human being. Let's treat people with a little kindness and compassion. Let's not punch below the belt. If you suck on the field and your play sucks, then you suck. But keep it with the play. Don't go, hey, you had a drinking problem.
Those death threats too, man. Are those necessary?
Death threats. Don't expose somebody's alcoholism or drug problem.
And make fun of it.
Not fair. Keep it to the performance. That is all day long. Hey, you suck. You can't throw. You can't hit. You're terrible. Okay, that's fine. But don't go to mental health, drug problems, whatever. Just be better than that. That's all. I had to get that off my chest.
No, and that's great. And to the viewers out there, I love it. Great job, Roy. And that's where I'm coming from. And we were both coming from the heart, and that's what this podcast is all about. I mean, we're new technically to the podcasting world. We've been on TV. I mean, we're in radio back in the day, like the analog side of things. We were very blessed to be a part of that. And I've always been in the radio television scene. I guess we are on the professional side of things, Roy. We've done a lot of things, and we've worked with a lot of high caliber people, the head honcho people. I mean, people that you never would expect to be working with, and it's a blessing. But I see these people as human beings as well. I think I've asked for maybe 3 autographs in my life, man. And Tom Waddle was one of them. He was in Bolingbrook, Illinois one time, and he was actually hitting on my cousin. I remember that. My cousin was like 23 years old at the time, and I think I was 12 or 11, something like that. And she ended up getting his number or something like that, or I don't remember what it was.
Maybe we need to get
got something. I don't know, but yeah, right. So no, yeah, I'll have to ask her on that one next time I talk to her. But anyways, no, I think I've only asked for 3 autographs in my life. And Dave Dorson, another one, dude. When I was living in Chicago, my dad, for my birthday, I'll never forget this. Shout out to my pops. He actually took us to a car dealership, and Dave Dorson was there. And I got an autograph signed picture. I'll have to bring it on. We'll have to remind each other to bring on some memorabilia. I do, and I think you might have it actually in one of my boxes at your house. Okay. So let's talk about that because you might have it there.
Obviously he took his life, right? And he suffered from the CTE aspect with mental health of the concussions.
Because of concussions.
Any autographs by Dave Dorson, if you go on the eBay market or whatever, they're very coveted, right? Because he's not here to sign anymore. So
he made history too. Unfortunately, bad history, but he made history. Mm-hmm. He's the one that started the whole concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So God bless him and Dave Dorson. Also, man, it's just sad because now you kind of just think, even though I was very young, I remember my dad holding me, and I'm seeing that flashback right now. So I just got a moment. I apologize. No, for real. That was a real moment. I saw it. I remember reaching out to the guy, and Dave Dorson actually came out. My dad held me back, and I was like 5-6 years old, man. And I was just I was a very shy kid. I don't like to be pictures, nothing like that. I'll have to bring some crying pictures of me crying. I'll show them. I don't care. Hey. They're kind of funny. But yeah. So with that said, I want to talk, like I said, mental health is going to be part of our segments, and I'm glad we got to give you a a taste of what we're going to be talking about. So great job, Roy.
So
That
many
was
more stories.
That was an impromptu. That was impromptu. That was
So many
not
more.
planned. I didn't even tell him. It's not even on. I can show you guys. It's not on my list here. All right, these are just edits and what we're talking about. It's not on my list.
It just
See,
came
add
from
this,
the
add that.
heart, you
That's
know.
it. It was from the heart. That was real. So we are not planning this shit. This is stuff that just comes from the heart. We have planned. We did want to talk
Proof
about
is
it.
in the heart.
Proof is in the heart. Proof is in the heart. But yes, so that's what we want to do. And Roy, can I get a round of applause off that sound thing? Because I want to give you that round of applause. And this round of applause is for everybody out there as well that is dealing with mental health and using sports as an outlet.
It's enough. All right, sorry, I had to tell
That's-
people quiet.
And that's what we're all about. So with that said, with me being a part of this, I want to show everybody what we're in for tomorrow. And this is a little bit of I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a teaser of what we got going on here. Let me make sure the audio is shared. And this is the NFL Pathway, Players Pathway, episode 6. It's called Finding Belief. And you can find this on YouTube on the NFL UK channel. So make sure to check them out. Shout out to Hugo and Tom. Love you guys. They are one of the guys that are behind this beautiful production. So shout out to them and the crew. They are doing a fantastic job. Hands freaking down. Tom is amazing. Hugo's amazing. I have the pleasure to work with them and learn a lot from those guys. So it's been a pleasure. So here's a little bit of what the episode's all about. And once again, you can watch this on YouTube. It's totally free.
You didn't make it yourself from there. Wasn't making it. You didn't make it from there. The ball's moving. So. I play ball. Easy you are.
There you go. So make sure to check that out on NFL UK. I'm telling you guys, it is freaking awesome. And some of the guys you're going to see this year, I mean, just look at this. The NFL IPP. This is written from the NFL.com. Here's the source right here. Scott. I can't say your last name. Is it Pioli? Scott Pioli. Yeah, I know.
Pioli.
Yeah, Pioli. I couldn't see that. And then I saw his face.
The old Kansas City Chiefs GM, and then he went on to work for the New England Patriots as well.
Yes, I'm literally at my glasses. I can't see the glare. If I can show you what the name looks like, it looks like P. That's it. I just see P in there. So I'm like, Scott P. All right, what's up, Scott P? So anyways, he wrote this beautiful article and kind of giving everyone what the IPP program is all about. So it's a great read. Check this out. I'll give you guys a little bit of a taste. And just so you remember, Jordan Mailata, who hails from Australia, Aussie, oi, is with the Philadelphia Eagles. And probably one of the biggest highlights due to the fact of his, nature. He's just a beast, man. I got a chance to meet him. So it's amazing. So there's some of the guys there. And here's some of the guys that we have there now. This is B. I call him B. This 23-year-old. He's from the Dominican Republic, and he is a B. 6'8", 290 pounds. This man is draft eligible, and he is going to do great. Can't wait. Pat Murtaugh, second year back, great kid. Probably one of the most positive guys I've ever met in my life. The man is just, and I mean that. This guy is always positive. It's always a beautiful day, baby. That's what he says to me. So shout out, Pat. Can't wait to be there with you tomorrow. So it's going to be awesome. This is through all media outlets. So you'll be able to see it all over. I believe ESPN is going to be there. The NFL is going to be there. All the local networks are going to be there. So if you are in the Florida area, make sure to check it out tomorrow night, because I'm sure it's going to be on your 10 o'clock news. So that's pretty much it, man. That's what we got going on. What do you think, Roy?
Can I bring up something about Scott Pioli?
Yeah.
We want to talk about mental health. So this was a story that I remember well, and I'm going to read it just to refresh the timeline. On December 1st, 2012, Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Jovan Belcher murdered his baby's mother. Okay. I won't say her name just for the family so they don't have to relive it all. But when Belcher drove to the team's facility next to Arrowhead Stadium, and he took his own life in front of head coach Romeo Crennel and general manager Scott Pioli. And Scott told the story. You can go on YouTube if you guys want to watch that, but he contacted him and said, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on? Like, come down here and let's talk." And he went down there, and before Pioli and Crennel could actually have a chance to talk him into doing the right thing and getting help, and let's go turn yourself in, and we'll get you the help and what you need after that, but go do the right thing and turn yourself in. He shot himself in front of them. So can you imagine that for Scott? So I wish Scott the best success in the world, which he is doing a lot of cool things, right? He worked in New England's front office. He's writing these awesome articles and he's doing work. And that's a testimony to Scott to say he could have just shut down and said, man, that was horrific. But kudos to Scott for doing work. So I just wanted to give him his props on that article. So
Awesome. And I just feel like a jerk bag for squinting, saying, Scott, I couldn't see his picture. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm so blind.
Hey, man, we got glasses.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But anywho, so that's great, man. And we're coming up to almost ending this podcast. It's been a great podcast, man, so far. A couple more things I want to talk about. A couple free agent signings. The Commanders 2024 free agent tracker, Austin Eckler joins the offense, man. So of the Commanders. So that's a big pickup. Interesting. What else we got going on over here? I think the Ravens, man, are good. Could be Ravens Eagles. Just by looking at this, man, it could be Ravens Eagles. How do you think Jim Harbaugh is going to do? A little miscellaneous talk here. How do you think Jim Harbaugh is going to do his first year so far? I mean, I guess that we can talk more about the draft. Let's say who he has now if the season starts today. Is he going to have a winning record this year? You think he's going to turn Herbert up? You think Herbert's going to be the best he's ever played? You think he might be the number one quarterback this year in the league?
Let me just share this. So people either love Jim Harbaugh or they hate him. Okay.
I love Jim Harbaugh.
I'm just going to say when he coached the 49ers, okay, you had Alex Smith, who was the number one overall pick in 2005. Aaron Rodgers dropped to like 20-something to the Packers, and that was a disaster. Up until Jim Harbaugh got there, Alex Smith was a bust. However, when Jim Harbaugh got his hands on Alex Smith had the best success of his career. Hence, and then he even went to the Chiefs for Andy Reid and had a little bit there too. Not a great player, but he went on to be salvageable and make money and cash checks. All right. But after Alex Smith then got hurt and he was being ineffective, Jim Harbaugh goes, I want to take a guy who nobody knew who he was, Colin Kaepernick, and he put him in the lineup. And they went all the way to the Super Bowl with a quarterback change late in the season like that, who was just, he was a heck of an athlete, didn't really have any direction or coaching, and Jim Harbaugh took him, and they went to the Super Bowl. Now, imagine if he had a franchise quarterback, which he didn't in San Francisco. He did this with Smith and with Kaepernick, and he lost to his brother in the Super Bowl, okay? I'm sure that
was the Super Bowl. The lights went out at after halftime.
The Mercedes-Benz, the old Superdome. But anyway, he has something to prove. That's the only thing he hadn't done yet is win the Super Bowl. He goes to Michigan, wins the championship, finally brings that back to Michigan after having all the struggles to Ohio State beating him and beating him and beating him. He wins that. Now he's got a chance to have Justin Herbert. So think about it. Look what he did with J.J. McCarthy at Michigan.
Yeah.
Every quarterback he's touched has turned to gold. He doesn't really have a whole lot of work to do with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's already good. Wow. How much better can he get? So that's the storyline that I really want to see what he's going to do with Justin Herbert. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Eyes wide open on that one. Let's go. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting NFL season, which I think I think personally, I've been saying that to friends and family and even you, Roy, since you're my brother. I've been saying this for a while. Every year has been getting more interesting. I think after 2018, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, the 17th season, but 18 in February when they won the Super Bowl, it was like lights on more for Philly, and it was a great moment for me, and it just kept getting more interesting and interesting and interesting after that, and it just wouldn't stop. And then obviously we know what happened in 2020, and then things really changed, and then now we're getting back from that, and now we have two football leagues, uniting, and wrestling's changing, and that's another miscellaneous thing I want to talk about is for all you wrestling fans out there, with The Rock being back, and The Rock is the final boss now, and the Roman Reigns story is maybe coming to an end. When will Cody Rhodes finish the story for his dad and win the big one? We'll find out on when The Rock screws Roman over and
Did you
screws
hear
his
the
own family
song
member
on
over,
SmackDown a
and
couple weeks ago?
all the signs and all that stuff going on. So yes, I'm dropping some professional wrestling knowledge because me and Roy are professional wrestling fans. So what was that, Roy? You said something about SmackDown?
The Rock a couple weeks ago did a song like he famously
Oh,
does.
was he? Oh, no, it was like this past weekend.
Yeah, this past weekend
This past week, right? When he was
he
sitting there
dropped a
doing it was
song
in Memphis,
on Cody
Tennessee,
Rhodes. Yeah.
and talking about his mom, and was he talking about his dog too or something like that? And yeah, I
Woo!
mean, and Memphis was cheering him.
Well, because
And I
he
thought,
said, he
yeah,
goes, "I started
yeah,
here,
he started there, yeah,
in
and
another, gimmick before he
yeah,
became The Rock."
but he can go right back to heel Rock. See, that's the thing. Like, this is the best work the Rock's doing. I even said, man, they have to change his ring entry too, because that's getting old, but they did a great job on that to get the lightning bolts down. Now he's the final boss. That's putting this up. That's just showing that he's going to lose. He's pointing the L to Roman. He's going to turn on Roman. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff happening in WrestleMania 40. I don't know if it's going to be predictable enough where maybe Roman might win again. Roman might win both nights and really
I
piss the
feel like he's
wrestling
gonna
nation
win.
off.
I really
I
do.
mean, something's going to happen because it's going to set up
They want
Roman
to keep
versus
the
The
fans
Rock.
off. Yeah,
But
they're
why would you want The Rock to come in and dethrone him when is it now? Is he showing? Is it? I mean, is it showing for you wrestling fans out there? And I know if you're still listening to the podcast, thank you, because that means you're into wrestling. So I understand if you're not, if you shut it off after that. But hey, we're in the miscellaneous stage here. We're only down to a few, so we're just bullshitting. So get on with it. But so with The Rock being the final boss, and he is the head of TKO or whatever he is. Isn't he like
he's
one of the
taking over
biggest
for Vince.
executives?
Save the
Isn't
company.
he's a Triple H of TKO, right? Like basically he's the Triple H.
Yeah, well,
As
he's
Triple
the
H is the
Vince. Well,
chief.
Triple H is still running the creative, but
Chief.
with
Yeah.
Vince leaving, they
Chief of
need a
creative.
face of the company. They need a face. Vince was going to be
Right.
that guy. And now that he is gone, The Rock is there to save the company in that role, so to speak.
He definitely knows his role, doesn't he? I mean, that was definitely that slap. You knew that was coming. I mean, that
He's on the
press con,
board,
what
though.
they're doing
He's
with
a board member.
wrestling, I like it. And if people are really that dumb and oh my god, the way The Rock is swearing, isn't it a PG show? Do you understand that they just signed a multi-year contract, probably the biggest in Netflix history? Do you know that they are getting you ready for the next Attitude Era?
Yes.
Do you know that they're going to be dropping F-bombs and anything they want at Netflix? Do you know that they can go all out if they want to
What?
gain the adult group like Roy and
Hardcore.
myself, the demographic of the original Attitude Era? For all you wrestling fans out there
Greatest
that
era
are that stupid, and no offense, but you are, because it's a story. If you don't see the business side of what The Rock is doing, whether you like him or hate him, you have to respect his business mind. I respect the guy for his business mind because he's also, he can sell out here and there. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, he is literally a guy that has his head on his shoulders, literally rock hard on his shoulders. Did I just screw that pun up? Maybe. But anyways, he is the guy that's going to change the face of wrestling. Sorry, he's doing it. And what is Tony Khan going to have to do after they get into Netflix and they can start swearing and dropping F-bombs and probably showing a nipple here and there? Tony Khan's going to have to bring out the checkbook and ask Amazon Prime, hey, do you want to sign us?
His dad's going to have to bring out the checkbook. Let's face it. His
Yeah.
dad, Shad, is the one that supplies the money. But
Yeah.
that Sting send off was really good, by the way. I don't know if you saw that with Darby Allin. And
Yes. Oh, amazing. I
yeah.
loved how he brought his sons out,
Mhm.
and brought the Dark Crow Sting out, and then they brought the
Mhm.
Surfer Sting, and
so
then obviously Sting. I can't say it loud because I don't want to.
Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone definitely has that thing trademarked, so I'm gonna just not say it.
I like how Darby Allin though all cut up and just he's like, yeah, I got to go to the if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the hospital right about now because he was all cut up.
Did you hear? And this is I'll give my lady Chrissy some credit for this one. She sent me an article that Darby Allin broke his foot. Do you know that Darby Allin was supposed to climb Mount Everest? And he said that on a live episode of Dynamite. He said, and I'm just paraphrasing, he basically said, I might not be coming back after that wrestling match. That might have been my last one. Pulls back, lets the crowd respond, comes back in and says, I'm climbing Mount Everest next week and I might not come back alive. Well, guess what? He breaks his foot. So he probably was going to die and it's not his time to go. So isn't that a crazy sign, Roy, of the Lord talking to him? Like, you need to slow the F down so you break your freaking foot and tell you you're not climbing that bitch. So there it is. See, I was right. But anyways, that's where I'm at, man. So if you are a wrestling fan right now, it is freaking awesome. So make sure you tune into both of those companies. They're doing a great job. So with that said, Roy, I want to give a couple shout outs first. If you have any shout outs, I will get to you here. But my guy, my other brother from another mother, I grew up with since 2001 because I was still growing up. My guy, Jeremy, he started something called Freedom Malts. He loves all things whiskey, pro craft, and local spirits distilleries. He's an advocate for American single malts and founder of Northwoods Whiskey. Nerds cheers. So there's my guy. Check him out on his Instagram. He's starting to go live, doing some cool single podcasts. This is his backdrop. Check this out. He's doing a great job here. Here's one of them. So, it's pretty cool, man. So we're going to have him on the show in the future for a segment. He's going to talk about whiskey. He's going to talk about what type of week you've had. And if you had a bad week, what bottle should you go to? And once again, I am not telling you to drink and get drunk. It's just a conversational piece. Just have a little sample and that is it. I am not telling you to go
I'm behaving myself right now.
Yes. So I just don't,
There's
I'm
a
just
term,
making,
risky, so I'll leave it alone.
I'm just trying to, listen, I'm just trying to help everybody out because, like, something like this is where I live. I see this every day. I'm grateful for that. So, shout out to Jay, man.
Jeremy.
I love you, brother. I love you, Jeremy. Love it, man.
Yeah.
I like you, man. You're going up. Like this man right here. Look at this. We're going to get there soon. But this right here, man, I remember when he started. He's getting up there real fast. I mean, this is a very, green page, if you know what I mean. So he's doing a great job. I mean, this is what he's doing here. So go check Jeremy out at freedom_malts and give him a follow and send him a message and tell him the good old boys from Backstage sent you.
Oh yeah.
All right. So basically with that said, Roy, it's been a great freaking show.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts you want to say to the crowd? Anything you want to give out there, shout out there before we bounce out?
I'm just going to say this, folks. Just enjoy this time of the year. It's March Madness. You've got spring training, getting ready to go into opening day baseball. You got the end of the NBA season winding down. So we're going to get into the playoffs. You got the draft coming up, the Masters, which is the biggest golf event. That's their Super Bowl, so to speak. You got a lot of stuff going on. So just enjoy the time. Sit back, relax. Or I heard a commercial that said, if you need a vasectomy, now's the time to get one because that's your excuse to stay home and watch the NCAA tournament.
And
I'll pass on the
Hashtag City Podcast Sports,
and I'll watch it anyway.
Backstage,
I don't need an excuse to watch it. Yeah. But no, seriously, this is a great time of the year, folks. So and Wrestlemania, all right? So much sports going on. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Live life. Love it.
Yes. And what I want to say too, I want to ask you guys, please comment. Let us know what you're looking to see. Maybe we can do it for you. We will do our best to bring the best content from our hearts. We are not faking any of this shit. So remember that. The people we know are the people we know. We see them as a conversational friend. We're not going to sit there and try to get an exclusive out of somebody because that's not what we're fucking about. Yeah. We're about sitting here having a conversation. My name is Rob. This is Roy. This is who we are. Love us or hate us. We're not perfect, man. We're not perfect. You love stories, you either like who we are or you can say, "Oh, these guys are bullshit," but you have the right to feel however you want to feel.
Say
and
it.
that is okay, baby, because I do the same thing. So with that said, I'm Rob Eggers. This is Roy Herman. Make sure to check us out on all socials at HJC Media Group for more content. We will be getting reels out there for you. We will be getting more podcasts. Remember, this is a weekly podcast. We will have special podcasts. We will have special interviews. Everything is coming your way. So with that said, make sure you're good to yourself, love God, and we will see you next time on the Good Old House Jack City Podcast Backstage Sports Edition.